A very good day, grade 12 learners. Welcome to today's mathematical literacy lesson. My name is Mambani Kekana. Remember that the lesson is brought to you by Gauteng Department of Education in collaboration with Saibono Discovery Center and broadcast by Pakama Research and Development. Grade 12 learners, as you are aware that in terms of ATP coverage, you're supposed to be on week 5 of term 2. And then again, if you check on your ATP, you will see that you should have covered week 1, which is conversion. So today we're going to look at conversion again. So under convergence, remember for each and every section, there must be objective. In other words, what must be covered by the end of each and every section, or what you must know by the end of each and every section. So under convergence, so by the end of the section convergence, you must be able to convert within and between the metric and imperial units. When we say within, it means you must be able to convert between metric units. What do we mean by metric units? We are referring to the units that are used commonly in South Africa: centimeters, kilometers, and millimeters. And then imperial units are units that are used in other countries like USA. We've got miles, we've got inches, we've got gallons, and so on and so on. So for this one, you must be able to convert between the metric units. That means centimeter to millimeters, kilometers to meters. And then you must also be able to convert between metric and imperial. That means from inches to centimeters, from kilometers to miles, and so on. Okay, then again, under convergence, you must be able to convert between temperatures. You know that in South Africa, when we measure temperatures, we use degree Celsius. But in other countries like USA as well, they are using degree Fahrenheit. So that means if you are in South Africa and you are flying to US and then you want to determine or find out what the temperature is, you'll find that maybe in USA, the temperature will be in degree Fahrenheit. So you must be able to convert it to a degree Celsius. The same thing with if one travels from USA, let's say a citizen of USA wants to travel to South Africa, and then they want to find out about the temperatures. So in their local unit is going to be degree Fahrenheit, then now they need to convert it to in USA, they use degree Fahrenheit. So if they want to travel to South Africa, they'll find that the temperature is in degrees Celsius. So for them, it might not actually make sense, or they might not actually be sure about the temperature. So they'll have to convert it to degree Fahrenheit. Okay, and then the third one is you must be able to convert time. You must be able to convert time or calculate time differences. Convert time means if you are given a time in minutes and then they want you to convert it to hours, you must be able to do that. If you are given time in weeks and they want you to convert it to days, you must be able to do it. And then again, we've got calculate time differences. Now, under time differences, it's like if you walk for, let's say, you start walking or running at 4 minutes past 2, and then you finish at 10 past 2, then how many minutes did you walk, and so on. So that will be the time differences. Or if you start at 10 minutes past 2, and then you finish at 15 minutes past 2, what will be the time difference there? And then again, at the end of this lesson, you must also be able to calculate speed, distance, and time. In other words, you must be able to use the formula that shows the relationship between or among the three unknowns: speed, distance, and time. Okay, then the other thing that is very, very important, boys and girls, is under each and every section, you must know the terminologies. You must know the terminologies. You must be exposed to terminologies so that you will be able to understand the questions that will be coming later on. So you cannot just start by doing the calculations. You must be able to understand, or you must understand the terminologies that are used in this section as well. Now we've got conversion. We said we are doing conversions. What do we mean by conversion? Conversion is a change from one unit to another. So in other words, if we are changing or we're converting from centimeters to millimeters, we say that is conversion. Or if we're converting from kilometers to miles, we say that is conversion. So conversion is a change from one unit to another. Then conversion factor. Conversion factor is the value used to convert or change quantities from one measuring system to another. Conversion factor, the value used. Let's say, for instance, we've got, I'm just going to give an example. Okay, I'm just going to give an, well, let's say 1 inch is equals to 2,54 centimeters. Okay, we know that 1 inch is equals to 2,54 centimeters. That means when we convert from inch to centimeters, we multiply by 2,54. And then when we convert from centimeters to inches, we divide by 2,54. So that 2,54 is our conversion factor. So yeah, conversion factor is the value. So the value in this case is 2,54. Right, and then the next one, degrees Celsius. So degrees Celsius is a unit used to measure the temperature in most countries. Like we know in South Africa, we're using degrees Celsius. So we know that the unit is denoted like this. That is a degree Celsius. Then we've got analog. What do we mean by analog? An analog is a measuring instrument. Is when a measuring instrument displays value by positioning of a needle or hands on a dial, e.g. an analog clock or scale. Okay, so if you've got, okay, so if you see, like for instance, in a clock, you have a hand and so on, so it will be pointing at the time. These hands will be pointing at times, or okay, they'll be pointing at times, so that means that is analog. Then we've got digital. Digital is measuring instrument that displays values in numbers or digits. If I want to know the time, and then the time is indicated in numbers, that is digital. Then distance. What do we mean? What do you understand by the word distance? Now, distance is how far it is from one place to another. Okay, from Pretoria to Johannesburg. Okay, that will be a distance. Now, how far is it from Pretoria to Johannesburg? Okay, or how far is it from Pretoria to Vereeniging? So that will be a distance. And then remember, for a distance, here we are referring to a longer distance, so it means it must be in kilometers. In most cases, the distance is in kilometers. Then we've got a length. So this one is the measurement between 2 points in a straight line, e.g. the length of a room. Now, usually a length will be in centimeters or meters, or even in centimeters. That is a shorter distance. Now, when we talk about the length, we cannot be talking about kilometers, because kilometers is actually distance. And for a length, it's either, it will be in centimeters, millimeters, and so on, those small units. Then we've got elapsed time. Elapsed time is the time that has passed since the start of an event. Okay, if an event starts at 3:30 and finishes at 4, okay, so what will be the elapsed time there? From 3:30 to 4, the elapsed time will be 30 minutes. Okay, then we've got again imperial system. Okay, remember we spoke about imperial, we spoke about metric units and imperial units, or metric system and imperial system. So what do we mean by imperial? Imperial is a system of measurement using inches, pounds, feet, gallons, and miles. You don't necessarily have to mention all of them, but as long as you can give us an idea that you understand that imperial system is actually the system of measurement that is not used in South Africa. So you'll be giving examples there. Okay, then as I've just said about metric system, is a system of measurement that uses meters, liters, and kilograms. Then measure. Okay, measure is a term. What do we mean when we say measure? Measure a distance. Okay, measure a weight. So for this one, when you say measure, it's using an instrument. You'll be using an instrument to determine size, weight, and so forth. So you'll be measuring. So measure is when you use an instrument to determine size, weight, and or volume, and so on. Okay, measuring. Okay, measuring is determining the value of quantity directly, e.g., reading the length of an object from a ruler or the mass of an object from a scale. Then mass, what do you mean by mass or weight? Mass or weight is an indication of how heavy an object is. So when they ask you, what do you understand by the word mass or weight, or define the word mass or weight, and then you will say it's an indication of how heavy an object is. Then it's also known as weight. Volume, an amount of space occupied by a substance. Volume is an amount of space occupied by substance. Capacity, the amount of space available to hold a substance. So most of you, boys and girls, struggle to differentiate between volume and capacity. Now, when we say volume is an amount of space occupied by a substance, now volume is measured in cubic units. Can be cubic millimeters, cubic centimeters, cubic meters, and so on. Now, when we come to capacity, we say the amount of space available to hold a substance. This one is measured in liters, milliliters, and kiloliters. So just remember that volume and capacity are not actually the same. Okay, then when we come to conversion, okay, when we come to conversion using metric system, there are important units that you must remember. In grade 12, actually all the way from grade 10 to grade 12, we focus on the following when we do the conversion. The first one, length. Length is measured in meters, okay? Length is measured in meters. So this one is either length or we can say distance. So distance, but we know that distance will be in kilometers. So this one is when we convert either a length or a distance, or we convert a length to a distance or a distance to a length, okay? Now, the units that we are going to use are kilometers, meters, centimeters, and millimeters. These are the only units that you convert between them when we talk about metric system. Then we've got the second one, it's mass in grams, or you can say weight. Okay, then weight, this can be in kilograms. So mass, then when we convert between the two, between mass and weight, okay, we use kilograms, we use grams, we use milligrams, and we've got the special one there, which is a ton. Okay, so special one there, which is a ton, and remember, a ton is when you have a very, very big weight. So we're using the word ton. So in simple terms, 1 ton will give you a certain number of kilograms, which is 1,000, roughly 1,000 kilograms. So you must be able to convert between kilogram, gram, milligram, and a ton. Then we know that 1 ton is equals to 1,000 kilograms. Okay, then this one we say volume. Okay, so remember volume or capacity. Okay, now volume and capacity, then we know that actually volume is measured in cubic units, and then the capacity is the one that is measured in liters. So this one will be the cubic. So depending on how big it is, it can be cubic meter, cubic centimeters, or cubic millimeters. And this one will be liters, kiloliters, or milliliters. Okay, there it's indicated kiloliters, liters, and milliliters. So when we do the conversion between metric units, the units that we use in South Africa, we want to convert one to the other, then just remember that these are the ones that we focus on. Okay. Now, when we do metric units conversion, it's very, very important. Remember, these conversion factors won't be given to you. Okay? The conversion factors won't be given to you. So it means you must find a way of remembering this in an exam. I'm sure at your school, most of your educators are giving you the method of how to remember, how to convert between any two units. How to remember how to convert between any two units. Okay, the most common phrase, okay, so it's King Henry died by drinking chocolate milk. And then it's very important that you know how to use this. So it means even if you get into an examination or you get to a point where you now need to do conversion, this is what you must remember. It doesn't have to be in a table form, but remember King Henry died by drinking chocolate milk. This one we can use it to convert any metric units. We can use it to convert between any metric unit or any two metric units. However, in this case, we know that king, so the prefix there, letter K, represents kilo. Okay, and then this one represents hecto, just for enrichment, and then this one represents deca, and then this one represents deci, and then centi, and then milli. Okay, now, very important that, remember, we are not actually using all of them, especially up to metric level. We don't use all of them. Maybe beyond metric, you might encounter some of them, but up until metric level, we only focus on this. That is, if we are working about this, if we are working with distance or length. I think I've already indicated this, just length. We use kilo, and then we use centi, and we use milli. What does this mean? It means this now will be a kilometer, and this will be a centimeter, and this will be a millimeter. Okay. Now, if we're converting a distance or a length, now the middle, the one that is exactly in the middle, the weight by will now represent a unit. Will now represent a unit. So if we're talking about distance or length, the basic unit is meter. So this will become a meter. So it means this is a meter, and this will be a centimeter, this will be a millimeter, and this will be a kilometer. Now the question is, how do you convert, or how do you use this phrase or table to convert from one unit to another? If, for instance, you want to convert from kilo, okay, kilometer to meter, you can see there's 1,000, there's 1 and 3 zeros. There's 1 and 3 zeros. Okay, so that means 1 kilometer, it's equals to 1 and 3 zeros. 3 zeros, then meters. So just below K, there's 1, then it's 1, 2, 3, up until a meter. So it's 1 kilometer, it's equals to 1,000 meter. So from this, we can get our conversion factor. We know that if we convert from a kilometer to a meter, we're going to multiply by 1,000. So that means from left to right, it's multiplication. But now if you have to convert from meter to kilometers, you are going to divide. So you're going to divide by 1,000. Okay, then I can choose any other unit. Let's say now I've got a meter there. Then there's 1 below a meter. From this meter to centimeter, from meter to centi, you can see that it's 1 meter. It's equals to, this must be an equal sign. Okay, 1 meter is equals to 100 centimeters. Then again, you know that if I have to convert between meter and centimeter, depending on what is given. If I convert from a meter to a centimeter, I multiply by 100. But if I convert from a centimeter to a meter, I divide by 100, and so on. You can choose any other. If, for instance, we take centi, between a centi and a milli, there's 1 centimeter. It's equals to, we're moving to the right hand side, it's 1, and we've got only 1 0 there. So it's 10 millimeters. So that means when we convert from a centimeter to a millimeter, we multiply by 10, but then we convert from millimeter to centimeter, we divide by 10. This is how easy you're supposed to use this. So boys and girls, you must go and practice this table and make sure that when you get into an examination, you are sure about what you're supposed to do. Remember, it doesn't matter how many marks are there for conversion, but each and every mark counts. Okay, each and every mark, and this is where you're supposed to score a lot of marks. Okay, so you cannot afford to lose any mark regarding the conversion. So you must go and practice this method. But the very same table can be used for converting between capacity units. Okay, capacity units. Remember, capacity, now we're talking about liters. Okay, we'll be talking about liters. So if we've got liters, okay, I know that there's a denote there for a liter. It's not just a straight L, but okay, it doesn't matter. Okay, right. So now how do you convert? So it means now when we look at that middle letter there, the middlemost letter is now going to be replaced by L because we are now working with capacity. Right. Then if we're working with capacity, the most common used units, it's a kilo, okay, and it's a liter itself, and it's a milliliter. These are the most commonly used units up to metric level in MathLit. Kilo, liter, and milliliter. Of course, we do have other units like a centiliter. It might not make sense to you because maybe you have not done it. Then the same thing with deci, but don't stress about that. We only focus on the 3 of them, only 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then how do we use it? Again, 1, we're not talking about kiloliters, talking about liters, so it's 1 kiloliter, then it's still 1, 2, 3. So 1 kiloliter is equals to 1,000 liters. Okay, then but what about converting from a liter to a milliliter? Because now will be a milliliter. If you convert from a liter to a milliliter, you will see again it's 1 liter. It's equals to 1,000 milliliters. 1 liter is equals to 1,000 milliliters. Again, there you've got a conversion factor. If I want to convert from kiloliters to liters, then I multiply by 1,000. If I want to convert from liter to kiloliters, I divide by 1,000. and then converting from liters to milliliters, multiply by 1000, and then other way around, milliliter to liters, you divide by 1000. You see how easy it is to use it. Then what is the other conversion? What is the other metric unit that we can use this table to convert? Okay, we didn't speak about weight or mass. Okay, we can also use the very same table. We can also use the same table. This now will be a kilogram, and this will now become a gram, and this will become a milligram. Okay, we only use these three: kilo, and then it's a gram, and then it's a milligram. Okay, don't worry about the other units, as long as you can be able to find the conversion factor there. Okay, so remember the very same table, we can use it to convert distance or length, and we can also use it to convert capacity. We can also use it to convert weight or mass, or the unit of weight and mass. Okay, so this is how easy you can use the table. Right, then, okay, let us look at the examples. The first example that is given there is the mass of a piece of cheese is marked on the packet as 0.23 kilograms. Determine the mass in grams. Okay, so for this one, it means we need to convert the zero. What is 0.23? 0.23 kilograms. Then we need to convert it to grams. What is this in grams? If you go back to that table, okay, now you look for the conversion factor. We say, right, we are now converting between kilogram and a gram. From a kilo to a gram is 1000. So that means 1 kilogram is equals to 1000 grams. There you've got a conversion factor. You're either going to multiply or divide by 1000. From left to right, we're multiplying by 1000, and from right to left, we're divided by 1000. It's easy sometimes to just know that from left to right you multiply, but if you are not sure about that, you can also, because I know that most of you like the cross multiplication, if you are not sure about it, please use your cross multiplication. I know that most of the learners are or do prefer that method. So let me go back to my question where we say convert 0.23 kilogram to mass. Okay, then we know we start with 1 kilogram. It's equals to 1000 grams. Then now we've got 0.23 kilograms that must be converted to. Okay, you can use any letter. So in this case, because we're converting the mass, so we can say our mass now will be in gram. We can use letter M. Then we do the cross multiplication. Okay, now when we do the cross multiplication, what we're looking for the value in grams. So whatever answer that we're going to get in the end with this method, it will be the answer in grams. So never mind the units that are indicated there. Okay, never focus on the numbers. Focus on the numbers. Focus on the numbers. Focus on the numbers. When we cross multiply, we say 1 times M, then we know it's M. Okay, because you are math learners, you should know that anything multiplied by 1, you still get the same thing. Then we get 0.23. This one I prefer to indicate, multiply by 1000. Okay, I'm cross multiplying this top one by the bottom one, and then the same thing with the other one. So 0.23 multiplied by 1000, this will give us 230. Then we know that our answer is in grams. You see how easy it is? So what is important is to get your conversion factor. In most cases, the examiner won't give you this conversion factor, especially where you're converting between the metric units, that is those local units. So the answer for number 1 is 230 grams. Okay, then number 2, 2 pieces of wood of length 4,55 meters and 45 centimeters respectively are joined together. What is the total length of wood in meters? Now, what is the total length? If you join this together, what will be the total? So obviously the total means you have to add. So when you add, you're going to indicate total length. It's equals to 4,55 meters plus 45 centimeters. Okay. Now when you add, can you say 4,55 plus 45? Can you say 4,55 plus 45? The answer is big no. Okay, because for this one you need to be careful. We can only add if the units are the same. You can only add if the units are the same. Now between this, the question specifies that the answer must be in meters. So the answer, for the answer to be in meters, it means for us to add, everything must be in meters. Okay, this one is fine, is already in meters, but this one is in centimeters. We need to convert this from centimeters to meters. Okay, if you go back and use the table of King Henry, you will remember that 1 meter is equals to 100 centimeters. Just go and look at that table again. 1 meter is equals to 100 centimeters. Then again, we need to convert. If you convert from meter to centimeters, we multiply by 100. But if you convert from centimeters to meters, we divide by 100. So if you take 45, you divide it by 100. This will give you 0,45. And then it's now going to be meters. 0,45 meters. But again, if you prefer the cross multiplication method, you are welcome to use the cross multiplication method. In the end, the answer will be the same. Because if you do it like this, you say, right, there, I don't know the meters, but I'm looking for the length. Okay. So this one, and then this, I've got 45 centimeters. Now I can cross multiply again. When I cross multiply, it's L multiplied by 100, I get 100 L. Okay, and then equals to 1 multiplied by 45, I get 45. But I'm not looking for L, I'm looking for, I'm not looking for 100 L, I'm looking for L. So I divide by 100, divide by 100. Sorry, it must be, okay, this must just be divided by 100. Okay, this and this will cancel out, and then this will be 45 divided by 100, you still get 0,45. Okay, so this will be 0,45 meters. Okay, 2 ways. Then we simply say 4,55 meters plus 0,45 meters. Then we can just add. Please make sure that you use your calculator. Just make sure, don't take anything for granted, because remember, every single mark counts. So it's very important. So for this one, if you say 4,55 plus 0,45, then this will give us 5. So that is 5 meters. Okay. So yeah, so that is how you do number 2. The catch here was you had to convert one of the 2 values. You could not just start by adding. You had to convert one of the 2 values. In this case, because they have specified that the answer must be in meters, so you convert the centimeters to meters. Okay, so far so good. Let us look at the next question. It's a cereal box contains 0.45 kilograms of oats and normal serving is 30 grams. How many servings can be obtained from the box? A cereal box contains 0.45 kilograms of oats and normal serving is 30 grams. How many servings can be obtained from the box? You need to read it more than once if you are not sure. Okay, so for this one, we need to know how many of the 30 grams are in 0.45 grams. Okay, so it means we are going to divide. So for this, we say a number of servings is 0.45 kilograms, then we divide it by 30 grams. There's the method. But again, we need to be careful here because we've got kilograms, we've got grams. We've got kilograms and we've got grams, so we need to convert one of the two. In most cases, we convert the one that is easier to convert. Okay, but it doesn't matter which one you convert. If you want to convert, as we know that 1 kilogram is equals to 1,000 grams. That means if you want to convert kilograms to grams, you are going to multiply by 1,000. And then if you prefer to convert grams to kilograms, you're going to divide. So I can show you both ways just to show you that anyway, in the end, you will still get the same answer. So if you convert that one, we say 0.45, we multiply by 1,000. 0.45 multiply by 1,000, and this will become grams. Over 30 grams. We don't convert this one because we want the units to be the same. So in the end, we get 450 grams divided by 30 grams. Okay, the answer is, if you use your calculator again, 450 divided by 30, then you get 15. This 15 is the number of servings. But what if you decide to convert the one at the bottom? So it means you keep the one at the top. 0.45 kilograms over. If you convert grams to kilograms, you're going to divide. So if you take 30, you divide it by, so 30 divided by 1,000 will give you 0, so it's 30 divided by 1,000. So you get, just check it on your calculator, you get 0.03. 0.03. Just make sure that you do it correctly there. 0.03. So if you say 0.03, remember it's now in kilograms. If you take the sum as it is 0.45 divided by 0.03, then you still get 15. This 15 is still the number of servings. So in most cases, boys and girls, there's more than one way of doing the answer. So if you are comfortable with one method, please stick to the method. Okay, but you are not going to lose any marks if you are using a different method. But what is important is please show the method all the time. Most of the learners in their final exam at the marking center, they are losing a lot of marks because they are not showing the method. Remember, you can show the method and you can make a mistake. So as long as you have shown the method and you make a mistake, who knows, maybe you might get 1 mark. Okay, so please try to show the method all the time, not just the answer only. Okay, and then the next one is we're going to look at how to convert between imperial and metric units. Sorry, there's a spelling error there. It must be ME. Okay, so it must be either metric system, imperial to metric system. Remember, we explained the difference between the two. So for this one, you don't actually need to memorize the conversion factors. Okay, these conversion factors between imperial and metric will be given in the examination. The examiner will give it to you. What is important is you must be able to use them. you must know how to use each and every conversion factor when it's given. Okay, some of the conversion factors might look slightly from the ones that you did in the classroom, but you must only use the ones that the examiner is giving you. You must only use the ones that will be given by the examiner. You don't change anything. Okay, I'm just going to give you an example with this one, which says 1 inch is equals to 2.5 centimeters. Okay, but if you remember in the very same lesson, somewhere we said 1 inch is equals to 2.54 centimeters. Okay, so if the examiner gives you this conversion factor and says 1 inch is equals to 2.5, then you must use 2.5, because if you are going to use your own, then you might get penalized there. The same thing with 1 foot is equals to 30 centimeters, and then 5 miles is equals to 8 kilometers. So you must be able to convert. For this one, 1 inch to 2.5, it means if we have to convert from inches to centimeters, we will multiply by 2.5. And then if we have to convert from centimeters to inches, we'll divide by 2.5. 1 foot, it's equals to 30 centimeters. Okay, if we have to convert from foot to centimeters, we will multiply by 30, but from centimeters to foot, we are going to divide by 30. Again, you can also use the cross multiplication. 5 miles is equals to 8 kilometers. So this one, again, there's a catch there, so it means you'll have to do some rearrangement there. Okay, it's 5 miles is equals to, you cannot just multiply by 8 or divide by 8, or divide by 5 or multiply by 5. You see, it's not 1 there. Okay, right, let's look at the next one. It's again examples of the conversion factors. We've got 1 pound is equals to 450 grams. And then we've got 2.2 pounds is equals to 1 kilogram. Okay, going to the first one, it means if you convert from pound to grams, you're going to multiply by 450. Then if you convert from grams to pound, you divide by 450. The same thing with 2.2 pounds is equals to 1 kilogram. This one, look, is slightly different. 1 is now on the right hand side. If you convert from pound to kilogram, you divide. Okay, you divide by 2.2. But if you convert from kilogram to pounds, you're going to multiply by 2.2. So it is not always about from left to right you multiply, and then from right to left you divide. From left to right to multiply, not always. It depends on how the conversion factor is given. You see this one, the 1 is on the right hand side. That is why we're dividing. Okay. Then there's another conversion factor there. 1 stone is equals to 6.3 kilograms. It means if you happen to be in USA and then you hear somebody saying 1 stone, you must know that 1 stone is more or less 6.3 kilograms. If you hear that a certain rugby player or a soccer player from overseas weighs, let's say the weight is in pound, you must have an idea of how much is that actually in kilograms. Remember, in this case, you'll have to convert it to grams and also be able to convert it to kilograms. They know that once you can convert it to grams, you'll easily be able to convert it to kilograms. Okay. And then again, we've got capacity. We've got the first one there, it's 1 pint is 570 milliliters. 1 gallon is equals to 4.5 liters. So again, if you have to convert from a gallon to liters, then you're going to multiply by 4.5 and then the opposite. Then look at this one, 1.75. It means if you convert from pint, you see this, and the first one and the second one, it's about converting between pints and liters. That one is milliliters, but you know that in the end, you can still convert it to liters. So in the end, it doesn't matter which one you're going to use, but the answers will be the same. Okay, then to the real examples now. Conversion imperial system example, the diameter of a bicycle wheel is 28 inches. Determine the diameter in centimeters. Right, now we need to check. For conversion, we've got 1 inch It equals to 2,5 centimeters. There's more than one way of doing it. One will look at this one and say, okay, 1 inch is equals to 2,5. So it means if I've got 28 inches, to convert it to centimeters, I'm going to multiply 28 multiplied by 2,5. Okay, so this will be 28 multiplied by 2,5. It's 70 centimeters. That means if 1 inch is 2,5, obviously 28 inches will be 70 centimeters. No, now this one I've actually used the inspection method, but even if you use the cross multiplication, you should get the same answer, because the conversion, okay, will be 2,5 centimeters. Then we say 28 equals to 28 inches. Then for this one, we're looking for centimeters. You can use letter C. Then for centimeters, cross multiplication, it's 1 multiplied by the letter is the same letter, 28 multiplied by 2,5. Then you still get 70. And just remember that the answer is actually in centimeters there. So again, you can see, boys and girls, that it doesn't matter which method you're using, but like I said, stick to the method that you feel comfortable with it, and then make sure that you understand it better before you write your test or you get into your examination. Right, then the next one. This, we're going to look at how to convert this. We have indicated length, so it can either be length or distance. The distance between the distance between New York and Washington, supposed to be Washington, D.C. in USA is 227 miles. Convert the distance to kilometers, okay? Now, we as South Africans, it might not make sense when somebody says the distance is in miles, because we know that in South Africa, we are using kilometers. So to make sense of that, to have an idea of how many kilometers is that, so we need to convert it. So 227 miles. We are going to look at, there is our conversion factor. Okay, so now you imagine if you are writing a paper and then you are getting a conversion factor like that one. Remember, I said some of the conversion factors will be slightly different here. Okay, so it means you must be able to use any conversion that is given. Okay, you must be able to use any conversion factor that is given there. Right, we've got 227 miles. Okay, let's see. So it means obviously in this case we have to use 5 miles. It's equals to 8 kilometers. But in this case, we don't have 5 miles. We've got 227 miles. Okay, so we are looking for a distance. So we can just say this is letter D to calculate the distance. We're going to do the cross multiplication. You might have seen that in the previous examples that we did, most of the time, the conversion factor that is given there, we start with 1. Okay, we started with 1, but in this case, we've got 5. So even if we cross multiply this one, if you multiply 5 multiplied by D, it's 5D equals to, then we've got 227 multiplied by 8. 227 multiplied by 8. This one, I'm just indicating that I'm actually multiplying 227 and 8. Right. Then on your calculator, 227 multiplied by 8. Then we still have 5D on the other side, on the left-hand side. So, but when we multiply, we get 1816. Then we've got 5D is equals to 1000 816. Okay, 5d is equals to 1816, but we are looking for the value of d. We want to know this 227 miles is equals to how many kilometers. Then we divide to get rid of that 5. Then it's 1816 divided by 5. It's 363.2. 363.2 kilometers. Okay. In this case, the question doesn't specify the rounding, whether you need to round it off to the nearest kilometers or so on. But in the end, we get 363.2. But we know that for a longer distance, 363.2, we are only interested in the whole number. So this will be about 363 kilometers. Okay, this is about 363. That is if you round it off to the nearest kilometers. But in most cases, the examiner will specify the rounding. Okay, so that is, you can see that this one, unlike the other or the previous ones, where it had a one more step instead of just the few steps that we had. Okay, then we look at how to convert capacity as well. The capacity of a car's petrol tank is 15 gallons. So you go to US and then you hear the petrol attendants there, okay, or the fuel attendant there, they will say 15 gallons, that is the size. And then you actually don't have an idea because in South Africa we only work with liters. Then you quickly want to convert, so and then it means you must have the conversion factors. Right, let us look at this. We've got 15 gallons. Then if we look at the conversion factors that are given here, gallon and liters, we've got one gallon, it equals to 4.5, 4.5 liters. But we don't have one, we've got 15. So we want to know, okay? So for this one, it's how many liters? You can still use letter L, okay? So never mind about the other units. So maybe let me use a different letter there. Okay, I'm going to use a different letter. Okay, so for this one, I can just say F for fuel. Okay, sorry. Okay, so letter F. Okay, so but we can use letter F there. Okay, so then to find the value of F. Okay, so boys and girls, just for a minute, then we are going to take a break. Stay tuned. Okay, sharp. So there we've got letter F. So we've got letter F. Okay, so we have to cross multiply. Okay, just the 3 minutes. Sorry.
You have been given power. Your destiny is shaped right now with the decisions that you are currently making in your schoolwork. So decide whether you want to be an A student and start working on it, because there is power inside of you. The infinite power is inside of you, and the time you decide to tap in that power, you will become who you want to become in your schoolwork.
Excellence. Excellence is a habit. Excellence is a quality you have, a quality I have. It's a quality we have when we honor what is true to us. Yes, we are gifted differently. uNkulunkulu akasinganga ngokufana. Excellence is striving for your best. Whenever you have a particular project, test, homework, uzibuze, ask yourself, is this my best? Can I put in more effort? Excellence is striving to be in the top 1% of the area in which you are gifted. And so I challenge you, in every single thing that you do, in every single area that you're gifted in, whether it's sports, it's academic, ucula, whatever that gift is, strive for excellence.
Do you know that you are different? Do you know that your fingerprint is different? It's different from your peers, from the people that you are studying with. So do not compare yourself with your peers. Do not compare your results with what they're getting, because you are different. You have your own talents and skills, and also you have your own gifts. Embrace what you can do. Always put in the work to make sure that your results become better than what they were yesterday. But do not compare yourself, because when you compare yourself, you do not know what another person has, and they do not have what you have. So believe in yourself. You are different, and keep on putting the work.
Girls, technology sometimes it can disappoint us, but okay, we are now fine. Let us continue. We're still busy with example 3. The capacity of car's petrol tank is 15 gallons. Convert the capacity to liters. So I'm going to do this again. Okay, so this one, I was still saying you are in USA, and then now you have to throw in a fuel, and then they say in gallons, then you wonder how much is that in liters. So you must be able to convert as well, or you must have an idea. If you need an idea, you'll quickly do the conversions. So for this one, we're given 15 gallons, and then we need to convert it to liters. We've got 3 different conversion factors that are given there, so we need to choose the correct one. So you'll remember that the correct one there is 1 gallon, it's equals to 4.5 liters. Okay, so then we need to convert 15 gallons. 15 gallons. And then remember, because we're looking for the fuel, okay, or the capacity. Right. So we can use letter F as well. So the cross multiplication for this, we've got 1, we've got F, and then this is 1 times F, then we're going to get 15 multiplied by 4.5. Okay, then if you use your calculator, it's 15 multiplied by 4.5, 67.5. So that is about 67.5. Okay, 67.5 liters. 67.5 liters. Yes, that's it. That's it. That is how you do the conversion. basically the method is the same, cross multiplication. Okay, then again, another type of convergence is when you calculate. Okay, so the first one is when you calculate degrees Celsius. So it means to calculate degrees Celsius, the value of the degree Fahrenheit must be given. Then you're just going to do the substitution. And then remember again, each and every mark counts. So substitution, please indicate the substitution. Then after that, simplification. So for this one, is when you calculate or convert from degree Fahrenheit to degree Celsius, that means you want the answer to be in degree Celsius, then you do the substitution and simplify. The second one is if the temperature is given in degree Celsius and then now you want to convert it to degree Fahrenheit. Then again, you do the substitution and simplify. You have to show the substitution as well. Okay, now let us look at an example. A normal body temperature of an adult is 37 degrees Celsius. Convert the temperature to degree Fahrenheit. Okay, you know that during COVID, okay, everywhere, even now, everywhere we go, they still have to check our temperatures. Then when you get there, they say if your temperature is above 37 degrees, it's 38. So it means probably you might be sick. Okay, so that is why for this one we say a normal body temperature of an adult is 37 degrees Celsius. Convert the temperature to degree Fahrenheit. So in USA, when they measure temperature, they need to see it in degree Fahrenheit. So we still use the same formula. Let us check our formula. There's the formula. It means when we do the substitution, our answer will be in degree Fahrenheit. So we can do the substitution. Degree Fahrenheit equals to 1.8 multiplied by 37 and then plus 32. Okay. Now remember, now in grade 10 you learn about the BODMAS. We need to work out the brackets first. So 1.8 plus 37, 1.8 times 37. 1.8 multiplied by 37. So it's 66.6. 66.6 plus 32. Okay, so please make sure that you don't change anything in the formula. If it's a multiplication, it must be multiplication. If it's addition, it must be addition. You don't change anything. You don't try to remember something that you did in the classroom and there was addition. So if the formula is given like that, just do the substitution and simplify. So 66.6, use your calculator, plus 32, then we get 98.6. 98.6. So this will be in degree Fahrenheit. Simple as that, boys and girls. So that is how we convert from degree Celsius to degree Fahrenheit. Okay, then the next question is, you are in United Kingdom, then they said the hottest night on record in the UK, in the United Kingdom is 107. Okay, it's 101.7 degree Fahrenheit, but you are used to the degree Celsius, so it might not make sense to you. So then they say convert the temperature to degree Celsius. Okay, we need to check. Okay, the formula there. The formula is degree Celsius equals to, in brackets, degree Fahrenheit minus 32 degree, divide, and then in bracket, divided by 1,8. Let us do our substitution. Then in bracket, we put 101.7. Then we minus 32. Then we say in bracket, then divided by 1.8. Okay. Again, according to the BODMAS, everything in brackets first. So if you take 101.7 minus 32, This is 69.7. 69.7. Okay, the brackets are gone now because we have simplified, then we still divide by 1.8. So 69.7 divided by 1.8. So it's 38.7. Okay, that is 38.7 degree Celsius. That is the hottest night temperature to ever be recorded in United Kingdom. Okay. Then the next question, this is still about converting between two temperature units. As cookies are baked at 360 degree Fahrenheit for 20 minutes, convert 360 degree Fahrenheit to degrees Celsius, rounded off to the nearest 10 degrees Celsius. Okay. Now remember, in this question, there's actually more than one question. There's more than one instruction there. First is conversion and then rounding. So for rounding, there's a mark specifically for rounding as well. Now let us look at the formula. You may use the formula. You may use. Okay. Now in most cases, when the examiners are saying you may use the formula, we okay, obviously we think that there's another option. Of course, there's another option. But maybe at that time in the examination, you don't even have time to think about the other option. If they say you may, we would advise you to use what is given. Let us use what is given to simplify or to calculate. Then this one is degree Fahrenheit equals to 1.8 times degree Celsius plus 32. Now we need to be careful. What is given here is this. And this one is not given, but that is the one that we need to calculate. Now look at the format of the formula, how the formula is given. Okay, so it means this is not an easy question. It is not an easy question. It means you have to think a little bit. We do the substitution. Now, if a situation is like this, it means somewhere, somehow, you'll have to rearrange the formula. But we need to rearrange the formula after the substitution. Let's see. 360 is the value of degree Fahrenheit equals to, then still in brackets, 1,8 times degrees Celsius, close the bracket, plus 32. Okay, then we know that, okay, still again for this one, we have to find the value of degrees Celsius. So unfortunately, this is a bit mathematical, boys and girls. That is why I said you need to think a little bit. It's not as easy as thinking. It's a bit challenging. Now, how do we rearrange this so that in the end, we've got degree Celsius? Remember we said according to the BODMAS, it's the brackets first. 1,8 multiplied by degree Celsius, this will still give us 1,8 and then degree Celsius plus 32. Then this is 360. Okay, we need to keep this on one side, 1,8. We need to keep 1,8 degree Celsius on its own. So we have to remove this and take it to the other side. So when we take it to the other side, I think for this one, it will be much easier if you take 32 to the other side. We say 360 minus 32 equals to 1.8 degrees Celsius. Then we say 360 minus 32. Then we get 328. 328 degrees equals to 1,8 times, okay, 1,8 degrees Celsius. Then we're looking for the value of degrees Celsius. Then we divide. We get rid of that by dividing. The opposite of multiplication is division. Like we did there, the opposite of addition is minus. 1,8. Then we get degrees Celsius equals to 328 divided by 1.8. Then is 182.2222, and so on and so on. Okay, there's the value of. So we've got 182,22222 is equals to degrees Celsius. Mathematically, this is the same as degrees Celsius is equals to 182,22. Degrees Celsius is equals to 182,22, or 182,22 is equals to degrees Celsius. So therefore, these are actually the same. Degrees Celsius is equals to 182.22. This is the value of the temperature. We have answered the first part of the question, convert. And then you say rounded off to the nearest 10. To the nearest 10, it means it's a number that is divisible by 10. Okay, how many times does 10 go into 182? Okay, so you can see that there's going to be a remainder there. There's going to be a remainder of 2. It's going to be 18 times. Okay, so to the nearest is 180. So it's 180. So there's the temperature rounded off to the nearest 10 degrees Celsius. So that means there's an extra mark for rounding as well. Okay, like I said, there's always more than one way of doing the answer, but in the end, the answers will be the same. Okay, after doing the substitution and simplification, okay, some of the learners might just decide to turn the equation around. You just turn it around, because if I say, let's say for instance, 4 over 5 is equals to 8 over 10. These are equivalent fractions. You learned about this in grade 10. 4 over 5 is equals to 8 over 10. Doesn't matter even if I say 8 over 10 is equals to 4 over 5. These are the same. So if I say this is equals to this, I can simply say 1,8 degree Celsius is equal, plus 32. Sorry, plus 32 is equals to 360. Okay? Okay, this is how I like it. I'm quite sure that you also like it in this way. Okay? 1,8 degrees Celsius plus 32 is equals to 360. Then we get 1,8 degrees Celsius is equals to, now you take 360, and then you say you take 32, sorry, to the other side, changes the sign, you get 1,8 degrees Celsius, it's equals to, it's still 328, and then we divide by 1,8, 1,8, then it's still degrees Celsius is equals to 182.222. Then after that, you still round it off. Okay, so you don't need to panic, boys and girls. This is some of those challenging questions, of course. Okay, so those are some of those challenging questions. So, okay, but we'll get to the next one now. Okay, just a minute, and then I'll get back to you.
Excellent. Excellence is a habit. Excellence is a quality you have, a quality I have. It's a quality we have when we honor what is true to us. Yes, we are gifted differently. uNkulunkulu akasinganga ngokufana. Excellence is striving for your best. Whenever you have a particular project, test, homework, uzibuze, ask yourself, is this my best? Can I put in more effort? Excellence is striving to be in the top 1% of the area in which you are gifted. And so I challenge you, in every single thing that you do, in every single area that you're gifted in, whether it's sports, it's academic, ucula, whatever that gift is, strive for excellence.
been given power to decide whether you want good results in your life, in your schoolwork, or you want bad results. As Tony Robbins said, it is in the moment of your decision that your destiny is shaped. And your destiny is shaped right now with the decisions that you are currently making in your schoolwork. So decide whether you want to be an A student and start working on it, because there is power inside of you. The infinite power is inside of you, and the time you decide to tap in that power, you will become who you want to become in your schoolwork. Do you know that you are different? Do you know that your fingerprint is different? It's different from your peers, from the people that you are studying with. So do not compare yourself with your peers. Do not compare your results with what they're getting, because you are different. You have your own talents and skills, and also you have your own gifts. Embrace what you can do. Always put in the work to make sure that your results become better than what they were yesterday. But do not compare yourself, because when you compare yourself, you do not know what another person has, and they do not have what you have. So believe in yourself. You are different, and keep on putting the work.
Right. Okay. Thank you. Welcome back, boys and girls. We are still busy with convergence. We're now going to look at our next slide, that is a volume, how to convert between capacity and volume, that is solid to liquid. Now think about this. If you look at the picture there, we've got, for instance, an ice cube. Okay, think about an ice cube when it's supposed to melt. Okay, so it's going to be from solid to liquid. Now, if you've got one ice cube and it melts, then obviously it's going to give you about 1 milliliter of water. And then that is where this comes from, about converting between milliliter and capacity. Now, if you look at the conversion factors, we've got 1 milliliter is equals to 1 cubic centimeter. If you think about the size of an ice cube, if the size of an ice cube is 1 cubic centimeter and then it melts, it's going to give you 1 milliliter of water. And if you've got 1,000 of them, okay, if you buy a bag of ice cubes, and then there you've got maybe about 1,000 of them, and then if they melt, that will give you about 1 liter of water. Okay, then now we've got 1 cubic meter, that will give you about 1 kiloliter. Okay, this one, it means we've got now a huge amount of ice cubes there. Then that will give you about 1,000 liters. So it means 1 milliliter, if you are given 1 milliliter and then they ask you to convert it to cubic centimeters, and then it means the value will remain the same. The only thing that is going to change there is the unit. If you've got 1 liter and then you need to convert it to cubic centimeters, you multiply by 1,000, right? So and then what about time? Now, when we convert time, these ones you need to remember the measuring time and working with timetables. You need to know that a minute is equals to 60 seconds. And you also need to know that an hour is equals to 60 minutes. That means if you convert from hours to minutes, you multiply by 60. But if you convert from minutes to hours, you divide by 60. The same thing with minutes. If you want to convert from minutes to seconds, you multiply by 60. And then if you want to convert from seconds to minutes, you divide by 60. We've got again 1 full day, it's equals to 24 hours. That means if you want to convert from number of days to hours, you multiply by 24. And then if you want to convert from a certain number of hours to days to a certain number of days, you divide by 24. Then when we come to a week, we know that a normal week has got 7 days. So if it's 1 week, it's going to give you 7 days. If it's 2 weeks, it's 14 days, and so on. That means if you want to convert from weeks to days, you multiply by 7. And then from days to weeks, you divide by 7, unless if they specify the number of weeks. Like for instance, if they say a school week, then they will be talking about 5 days, because a normal school week is from Monday to Friday. Okay, and then we've got a month. In a month, we generally say a month has got 4 weeks. Okay, but we know that if you compare that one of week, where we say a week is equal to 7 days, but there's 4 weeks in a month. So if you take 7, you multiply by 4, you get 28. So that is on average you get 28, but it's not in all the months where you get 28 days. So 4 weeks is actually just an estimation. But we can also say 28, 29, 30, or 31. But for estimating the number of weeks, we say it's 4 weeks. A year has got exactly 12 months, or 52 weeks, or 365 days if it's a normal year. Okay. If it's a leap year, the examiner will also specify that it's a leap year, and then you know that it's 366 days. But if you don't specify, we take it as a normal year. A decade has got, once we say it's a decade, a period of a decade, there we are referring to 10 years. If it's 2 decades, it's going to be 20 years. If it's 3 decades, it's going to be 30 years. Then a century has got 100 years. So if it's 2 centuries, it's going to be 200. 3 centuries is going to be, 3 centuries is going to be 300 years. Okay. Now, this one, we need to convert the time. They say a normal school day, remember we said there are 24 hours in a day, but this one we're looking at a school day. A normal school day is 7 hours. Write the school day in minutes. So you need to know the conversion factor there. We need to convert from hours to minutes. Now, if we want to convert from hours to minutes, we need to think about this. 1 hour is equals to 60 minutes. This is where you're going to get your conversion factor. 1 hour is equals to 60 minutes. While some of you already might know that, okay, from hours to minutes, we just multiply by 6. So therefore, you're going to say 7 multiplied by 60. So it's 7 multiplied by 60 is 420. Okay, so about 420 minutes that you spend at school on average. Okay, but some people or some of you might not be comfortable by just multiplying. Maybe you are so used to the cross multiplication, then you can also use the cross multiplication. For this one, we say, right, if it's 7 hours, okay, then we need to know the time. We do the cross multiplication. Time is t multiplied by 1 is t, but we still say 7 multiplied by 60, then the answer is 420. So it's 420 minutes. Okay, remember I said in most cases there's always more than one way of doing the answer. Stick to the method that you're comfortable with, as long as in the end the answer is correct. And please make sure that you indicate the method. Please show the method all the time. Okay. Number 2 is a normal walk of a person is 15 minutes per kilometer. So 15 minutes per kilometer. In other words, over a distance of a kilometer, 1 kilometer, a person will take 15 minutes. Okay, and then they say convert 15 minutes to hours. Convert 15 minutes to hours. We know that 1 hour again, it's equals to 60 minutes. Some of you already that, okay, if I convert from hours to minutes, I multiply by 60. But if I convert from minutes to hours, I divide by 60. So I'll just take 15 multiplied by 60. Then make sure you use your calculator. 15 divided by 60. Then there you've got 0.25. So 0.25 of an hour. That is a quarter of an hour. Easy as that. Again, you can still use the cross multiplication, but in the end, the answer will still be the same. And then number 3, it's a normal year has 365 days okay? And normal year has got 365 days. Convert the number of days, supposed to be days in the year, to weeks. Convert the number of days in the year to weeks. So we need to convert 365 days to weeks. Right, again, think about the conversion factor. We said a full week, 1 week, it's equals to 7 days. So that means if we want to convert from weeks to days, we multiply by 7. But if we want to convert from days to weeks, we divide by 7. Okay, let's see. So that means we can just take 365. Okay, 1 week is equals to 7 days. Then we say 365 divided by 7. So if you use your calculator, 365 divided by 7, then we get, my calculator, I get 52.1428 and so on. Okay, but remember, under the conversion factor, we said we've got 52 weeks in a year. Okay, so 52 weeks is a rounded off value. So it means it might not be exactly 52 weeks. It might be 52 weeks, maybe 1 day or 2 days. So, but when you round it off, you get exactly 52 weeks. Okay, so even if you use the cross multiplication, then the answer must still give you about 52 weeks. Right, then number 4, boys and girls, the time duration of a movie is 146 minutes. Write the duration in hours and minutes. Okay, again, this one, there's more than one way of doing the answer. We need to convert the minutes to hours. Sorry, we need to convert hours to minutes. We actually need to write this in hours and minutes. So we don't only convert it to 1 unit. Some of you might do it by inspection. You look at 146 minutes, then you ask yourself how many hours there. Then hours, an hour is 60 minutes. So you say 60, say 60, and then you check 60 and 60 will give you 120. I'm going to give you 120 minutes, which is 2 hours. So 60 is 120. So out of 146, you are left with 26. So it's 26. So then you say, therefore, this is 2 hours and 26 minutes. So this is by means of inspection. You just look at 146. Then you say, I've got 2 60s, that will give me 120. Then if I add another 60, I'm going to get more than 146. So, but I'm left with 26. So 146 minus 120, and that is how we get 26. And some of you will just say this is 2 hours and 46 minutes. 2 hours and 46 minutes. Some people will still prefer to divide. Okay, now if you divide, it means you take 146, you divide it by 60. Okay, 146 divided by 60. So if you say 146 divided by 60, you get 2,433. 2.433 with 3 recurring there. Now, the most common mistake here is now you need to convert this to hours and minutes. You've got hours already. Your hours is 2. Most of the learners, when they see 2,4, when they see the 4 there, then immediately they say this is minutes. But that is not correct. So this, it means it's a fraction of an hour. Like for instance, if I say 2.5 hours, I'm just going to give you a very quick 2.5 hours. In reality, when you think about 2.5 hours, you're thinking about 2 hours and 30 minutes. But you can't say 2.5 hours means 2 hours and 5 minutes. But the question is, how do we get to 2 hours? 2.5 hours to be 2 hours and 30 minutes. We say 2 hours, then we say plus a fraction. A fraction there is 0.5. It's 0.5 of an hour. Then this fraction can now be converted to minutes. If you say 0.5 multiplied by 60, it's going to give you 30. Then that is why you say 2 hours plus 30 minutes. That is why I'm saying this does not mean 2 hours and 4 minutes. But now, how do we convert this? We say 2 hours plus a fraction, which is 0.43333. The more digits you take after the comma, the more accurate your answer is going to be. So if you take 0.4333, then you multiply by, then it's going to give you about 25.99, which is almost 26. 2 hours plus, okay, this one you multiply by 60, then you get 25.998, which is about 2 hours and 26 minutes if you round it off. Okay, so yeah, there's more than one way of doing it, like I always emphasize, but you must always try to use the easiest method, stick to the easiest method, and try to show the method all the time. Okay, so this will bring us to the end of our today's lesson. Unfortunately, time is not on our side, but I hope you have enjoyed the lesson. So please remember to watch more lessons that are coming. And then we are still in COVID. Remember to sanitize, wear your mask, maintain social distancing, and keep safe. See you next time. Goodbye.